why am I being tested right now? Like, what is this? It doesn't seem like there's an answer for some of the things that I've been going through. I will let you know that stress, that strain, that pressure is all too fucking necessary. When things are going the best in life, they will take a swift and sharp downturn if you just stop trying. It's humbling, right? You guys, we're on episode 20 of the Fill the Gap podcast. I'm your host, Cody Allen. This podcast is my only podcast, which makes it my best podcast. But also, this podcast is sponsored by the one and only CutsClothing. CutsClothing is the best. This is kind of a bold statement. If I'm out of the house and I'm doing stuff and it has to do with work, it has to do with casual wear, it has to do with definitely going out, if it has to do with anything of that nature, you will not catch me wearing something other than CutsClothing. I've been rocking with them now for over 4 years, partnered with them for a few years now, and I'm telling you, take a picture of me, tag me in if you find me out not wearing this stuff. And it's not like I'm just like going to the grocery store in shitty clothes or whatever. I mean, like if I'm out doing something, you're gonna catch me in CutsClothing. They do men's, they do women's, and they do it the best. Their clothes are for the sport of business. They are casual to upper echelon. We call it a noon to night, from work to getting happy hour after. My arms look kind of good in this. Anyway, I love their stuff. Their shirts fit great. They're constantly dropping new stuff every Friday. The women's clothes, this fall collection, you guys grab their stuff. You can get 15% off using my name, my code, the Cody Allen. Drop it in, obviously, in the description. But I love their stuff. They sponsor the podcast. Got a box right here. And yeah, I'm wearing their stuff. Another quick shout out, not a sponsor, but a shout out, is my boy Bear over at Jackson sent me these chains and bracelets. And think about me. In middle school, I started wearing a watch because I was like, that's what girls like. That's what guys do, right? I think that, like, I don't know. I saw someone doing it. I started wearing like a plated gold watch. That was the coolest shit ever. So I guess I've been like more of a jewelry guy for a long time, but never really like a bracelet guy. That didn't catch on till later in life. But Bear sent over a couple stacks of jewelry and this double chain stack. So I've always been a single chain, gold chain guy, but I think that this double chain thing might be my thing for now, from now on. So check out Jackson too. Again, this isn't sponsored, but this just happened, and I thought it'd be good to bring up, especially because I'm wearing two chains. You guys are probably like, what the fuck's going on? But anyway, the reason why we're here, the reason why you're listening, is not to do with what I'm wearing. Maybe sometimes to do with what I'm wearing, but mostly to do with the episode of Fill the Gap. There's been, how can I explain this? There's just been so much fucking heavy shit going on in my life, probably in your life. Definitely not like, I'm not talking about like the world or anything like that. I don't take necessarily toll on any of that shit. But there's been things that I've kind of looked around in my personal life and been like, why am I being tested right now? Like, what is this? What's going on? Like, it doesn't seem like there's an answer for some of the things that I've been going through. And it brings me to a point that I want to make. And that is that in your life, you're constantly being stressed or strained in one direction, one way or another. Sometimes it's self-inflicted. Sometimes it's just the matters of the world. Sometimes it's situations that we're in. But I will let you know that stress, that strain, that pressure is all too fucking necessary. And that's in every aspect of life. When I played football, one of the most dangerous things in the game of football is becoming complacent and becoming lax. I think that's how you say it, becoming lax. But when you ease up and when you stop applying pressure on things in your life, in the game of football, that's when you get caught slipping. That's when you get caught off guard. That's when you're not ready to take on a certain scenario or situation that can really knock you on your ass. And that is when you get the most down on yourself, because you're like, man, had I been prepared for the situation, had I not kept my head on a swivel, then I would have just been successful in defeating that. Example, when I played at Sac State, we played a game at Oregon State that I think going into it, we felt like we would have won. We did end up winning, but I felt going into it that we matched up pretty well against them. I felt we played very physical up front. We had a good offensive line. We had a ton of playmakers on both sides of the ball. And I just felt that while I was elated that we won, we were on SportsCenter, it was a whole thing. Shout out my boy B. Reed and Flem on that 2-point conversion. We walked in extremely confident, right? We were ready to go. What happened, though, the following week, we're riding high. We come back, nobody can touch us, nobody can say shit to us. For whatever reason, going into the next week, we went up to Weber State in Ogden, Utah. Not much out in Utah, but there is a school called Weber State. Damian Lillard went there, in case y'all didn't know. We went out there, and to put this in perspective, Weber State they were a school that was probably just on our level. They're definitely they're in our conference, but as far as like athletes that get recruited there and whatnot, we're pretty comparable. And so when we went up to Weber State, we were just coming off this win, riding high against Oregon State, which is a big Pac-12 or Pac-10 school at the time. We're like, we got this. We're going to come in, we're going to roll them just like we did at Oregon State. And we let off the gas pedal that entire week going into Weber State. We let off the gas pedal coming into the game. And we went into that game against Weber State and got punched in the motherfucking mouth from the first play to the last play. I don't remember the score. I think it was like 42-14 or something like that. It was actually the game where I injured my neck and my spine. It's something that I maybe have talked about before on this podcast, but it's not the point really. But we went into that game letting up. And we went into that game not knowing how to deal with adversity because we just figured that everything was going to be easy for us. We won the game last week. We emptied our tank and we were done. We went and we got punched in the fucking mouth. And when I mean we got punched in the mouth, we didn't just lose on some trick plays or anything like that. Like, from what I remember on defense, they ran the ball down our throats. They on offense, we couldn't move the ball. They beat us up. And it's humbling, right? And had our team not been in that experience, gone through that experience, we would not have known how to rebound. And so the reason why I bring this up is that when things are going the best in life, when they seem like they're going the best in life, when they seem like they're going the best in your relationship, when they seem like they're going well in a lot of ways, they will take a swift and sharp downturn if you just stop trying. This is the same for your relationship, for your career. I'm telling you right now, complacency is the number one thing that will turn your life out for the worst. And I don't say it sucks, but it's not something that you kind of think like, okay, all I got to do is work really hard in life, and then eventually I can just kind of like ease off, right? And you can do that to an extent, but not in every aspect of your life, right? If you get to a point in your career where you financially can kind of ease off the brakes a bit, you better take all of the emotional equity that you put into your career and put it into your relationship now, and put it into your family now, and put it into your friendships now, and put it into hobbies now, whatever the hell it is. Because if not, at some point you're going to get rocked on your ass. The reason why I bring this up is because I truly believe that struggle is so necessary, and outside pressure and outside force and even pain is necessary to your overall success in life. Sometimes that's tough to wrap your head around, like we've all been there. Like, God, why me? Or whoever it is, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? Like, you just got to know that you will not get stronger in life, because life is going to throw some shit at you if you don't feel that sort of pressure and that inclination to work harder or keep your edge or whatever the hell it is. I can think of so many times in my life that I let my edge get dull. I can think of so many times in my life that I looked around and I was like, why is this happening to me? And I can honestly say now, looking at where I'm at in my life, that had I not gone through trials and tribulations, it would have made every task just seem so insurmountable. And it's all relative, right? For one person, it's why did I get hurt, right? For one athlete, it's why did I get hurt? Like, gosh, like I was going to have a really good game this week, but my hamstring's kind of acting up and now I can't show out for the coaches and get recruited this week, right? But for somebody else, it's when I did a routine route, I blow out my ACL, right? It's all relative. There's going to be different pains and pressures that are going to feel harder and softer at times, but in the reality, it's all necessary. And there will be a time in your life that it feels like it's just one thing after another. You lose your job, you lose your girlfriend, your family doesn't want to talk to you, you miss a credit card payment. It just seems like one thing after another. It just continues to happen. What you have to do in those moments is read between the lines, because in between losing your job and losing your girlfriend and whatever the hell else I said, there's something good that's happening in between each of those sequence of events, or that sequence of events. And if you don't stop and realize that, and if you don't stop the hemorrhaging, stop the bleeding of those depressive feelings like woe is me, and you get into that victim mentality, and you don't realize like, hey, you know what? I got the fuck up today and I completed this, this, and this. And this is moving me in the right direction to get to where do I want to be. Then you're just going to fall into the trap that thinking that woe is me, and you're going to wait for somebody else to come and turn your life around. And I don't know if I needed to say this, but for whatever reason, some people need to hear it. Nobody is going to fucking fix or create the life that you want or fix the life that you want than you. And the reason why is because nobody really cares how your life ends up other than you. At least it's not super high on their list of priorities, right? It's one thing to give back, and it's one thing to make sure that you are passing on knowledge, wisdom, maybe financially, maybe some trades that you've learned, whatever the hell it is. But at the end of the day, people are going to take care of themselves first. Never fault someone for doing that. So, I don't know. I just think that with everybody being so anxious, with everybody being so, the world sucks and this sucks and that sucks, you need to take what you can in regards to understanding the good shit that's going on right now. Use that as fuel to your fire and just blaze the path that you can and you want for yourself. So again, this episode is sponsored by CutsClothing. The boys over at Cuts always hook you up. They hook up the girls now. So go ahead, use the code TheCodyAllen, and you'll get 15% off anything that you order. They're constantly dropping. It's not a one-time code. Just continue to use it. Continue to support the podcast. Continue to support me. And we get more episodes like this. That's a wrap.